For today's book of the day, this is a book, by the way, that I talk a lot on. So it's a kind of a multifaceted book. I don't have time to talk about everything today, but I'm going to address one of the most common questions I get. People are like, Ty, will you post your routine? How do you get stuff done? And you don't think about it. At the end of the day, when you look back at your life, if you could have gotten more stuff done, think how much better your life would be. It's pretty simple, right? So this book has its own methodology about how to get more done. You know, Gary Keller. For those of you who are in my VIP private coaching, we go in depth through this book. So you'll know there's a lot of different angles he has. His basic thing is like focus. The power of one thing. Most people think they're good at a lot of stuff, but in reality, 7 billion people in the world, what are the odds you're going to be good at lots of stuff? To me, it's very low, and it's presumptuous. There's not that many Leonardo da Vinci's in the world. You know, my ego takes a hit when I say that because I'm a kind of guy that likes to pretend, or at least have an inner monologue that's like, Ty, you're good at so many things, but really what I'm saying is I'm so average at so many things. But you know what? Almost everybody watching this has a superpower, quote unquote, in one thing. And I think that's why Gary Keller talks about this book like, yeah, man, if you can get your one thing. It's like there's a saying, several thousand-year-old saying that says, see a man who is diligent and skilled in what he does. He will stand before kings, not before ordinary men. So I think that principle, if you can hone down your skills in a world of 7 billion people in just one thing, you will get a tremendous competitive advantage. But that's not what I want to talk about today, because that's what this book's about. And I talk about that in other places. I'm going to talk about something unique today that I have never really shared, because I'm an investor, own multiple companies, and we hire new people. I have an apprenticeship/intern program that people come from around the world. They come here, they want to, work with us, learn stuff. So I'll give you a trick today. I'm not all about shortcuts and tricks, but I'm going to give you the best one I know. If you can absorb this one, I'm telling you, as Mike Steinbeck, one of my mentors, told me when I was, 24, 25, he said, Ty, if you listen to me right now, one day you're going to hug my neck. And he was right. I listened to him, and I got into learning about investing, finance, and stuff. So we're not talking about investing in finance. We're talking about how to get things done. I'll show you the simplest trick. What you need to do is do an audit on yourself. What's my stickability factor? All right? I don't mean in a good way. A high stickability factor means you never get anything done. So I had somebody in my office the other day, and I gave them something to do. I was like, can you order, I need a new headset for my iPhone. No, actually it was this. I got a new iPad. I never use iPads, but I gave in to the hype, and I bought an iPad, right? So actually for notes, the interns can put notes. And as I'm doing it, my assistant, she just got me the iPad with no case. You can see I have a case because sometimes you drop these things and, they're expensive as hell to fix. So I said, where's the cover? And she's like, oh, I forgot, And I said, okay, get me a new cover. And she was like, okay. And she had her little task list, and she wrote it down. And I was like, that's a high stickability factor. What I like you to do, because you obviously made a mistake and didn't plan out to get the full iPad and the cover, order it right now on the phone. Man, my iPhone, where is my phone? Here it is. My iPhone, I have the Amazon app. I got the one-click set. Boom. Don't have your cognitive load go through the roof. Lists create cognitive loading. Internal or on paper. I don't care. As Sherlock Holmes said, now he's not a real character, right? But Arthur Conan Doyle, the author, wrote about Sherlock Holmes. He said the mind's like an attic. Everything you put in will eventually pile up, and you won't be able to put new things in. Warren Buffett says, for every good thing you put in, you got to take something out. You have to make room for it. So when you start in your day-to-day, you start having this high cognitive load because of the stickability factor. you will be less effective. Your brain won't function as well. You won't be able to do deep thinking. You won't be able to innovate like you should. So what I recommend, and especially this is where technology, I was talking about Wendell Berry, his book, The Unsettling of America. He's kind of a Luddite, kind of anti-technology. And there's a lot of good in anti-technology philosophy. Like I said, I believe in the simple life. But on the same by the same token, there's another flip side, and technology can do tremendous good for you. So get efficient, get them done type apps on your phone. The simplest of all is Amazon, one click. Get your credit card in there. You can buy stuff with one button. When I see a book, now I don't put it on a list. I buy it now. Now, there's an extreme. You don't want to do this all day, 12 hours a day, continually interrupting yourself. Oh, I should get that, and then spending even 10 seconds. Like if you're in your main project, you need to focus down. As they say about when Jeff Bezos was a little kid, the founder of Amazon, he was in a Montessori school, and they'd stick him in these little chairs, and he had to rotate around. And he was so focused that they couldn't tap him and get him out of it. He was like doing his coloring or whatever. So they had to pick up the chairs and move him around. He was excruciatingly focused. So there's a time, you got to know, there's a time and season for everything. When's the time you should be excruciatingly focused? And when's that time where you should be like, what do I need to get done today? What do I need to get done? And just that list just goes, and with modern technology, you can, instead of a list of 30 things, you can take that list to 2. I like my list to have no more than 3 things. Now, sure, I keep like an archive list, but man, I don't even do that anymore. Now I've got the luxury now. I've got a little more success in business these days, and I have multiple assistants that help me. I offload onto them, but the whole point of stickability for you to get a lot done is that anytime a task hits you, whether it's changing the oil in your car or buying a book or getting groceries or writing a thank you note, boom, that thing needs to just get off your plate as quick as you can. And if it's too much, then the next phase of this, the more advanced phase, is I was just reading Hillary Clinton's book, Hard Choices, somewhere here behind me. And, if you look at her routine in a day, she makes set time from I think it was 9:30 to 9:45. She records 4 thank you videos for key people. And then she gets it off her chest. Boom. So, but she doesn't do it all day. She doesn't interrupt her day. So she's carved out set time. So those are kind of the more advanced thing. The simplest is when people give you stuff, people go, hey, can you text Susie to come to your birthday? Don't do it later. As Benjamin Franklin said, or Thomas Edison, I forget. I know I should know this, right? I get too many quotes in my head. But the saying goes, do not put off for tomorrow anything you can do now. Try this as a 5-day challenge. I'm challenging you in the next 5 days. Everything that people put on you, shoot it back. And you'll learn to find the balance. Like you'll learn, oh, I'm overdoing it. I never get any focus time like Jeff Bezos had. So when you get an email, don't read it and not answer. Press reply and answer it real quick. Or make the executive decision that it's not important and archive the thing. Move on. Bam. So that's, the one thing. This is like beyond the one thing. This book has all kinds of stuff. I'm giving you some stuff that I don't normally share. I share this with the people in my inner circle, in my advanced VIP, but I wanted to share this, at least a preview of it, because there's a lot more layers to this, and I don't have time here on this video to just make 1,000 layers to this. But if you can attack things, I call it Alexander the Great. He was 19 years old, began to take over the world, conquer the world, and by 30, he died at 31, the man had conquered the whole known world. And he did it by aggressively moving towards what he wanted. Stanford calls that the bias towards action. So when you got a choice, you got an email in front of you, don't answer or answer it. Move it off, move the task back onto them. Think of it like hot potato. I don't want it to stick, boom. Get it off your plate. If it's truly and by the way, there is a place for lists. Okay, I talk about this. A lot of you watch these book of the days, and I read a book a day, and I make a list of all the books I've read. That's a good use for lists. It's not sticking to me. It's more of a categorizing effect that I use my list for. It's like, okay, here's the books that I read. I want to share, and that is not remotely the same thing as just creating a list. You know what ends up happening? I have people in my office. I'm like, you're doing flurries of activity, which are creation of lists Then your list gets so long, you have to make a list to keep track of the lists. Nah, that's all BS. Boom. It hits you, it bounces off. Someone says to you, you want to come to my birthday party Saturday? Instead of going, oh, let me think about it, that's cognitive loading. It'll keep you from doing more important things. The missed waiting bias, you'll have more important things. Don't suck your thumb. That's what Warren Buffett says. If you come to him with good information, he makes a decision to buy a multi-million-dollar business. Then or never. So no sucking your thumb syndrome. That's the same as stickability. For all those things, if Warren Buffett, the billionaire, can make executive decisions very quickly, you come to him, you say, here's how much money my business is making, how much I'll sell it for you. He will tell you immediately. He'll be like, it's a good deal or not. He doesn't say, let me think about it for a month. Obviously, there's some decisions that are very complex that you have to make more time. But your ability to not let things load up on your brain is going to be directly related to your ability to have impact in life and to live the good life, health, wealth, love, and happiness. So I'm giving you this 5-day challenge. No stickability, hot potato, no sucking your thumb on stuff. Make an executive decision. If you don't have all that, do not have all of the facts that you do need, well, maybe you could follow, I think it was General Powell, the Secretary of State, military leader. He said the 40-70 rule. He won't make a decision before he has at least 40% of the information he needs. But once he has 40%, 40 to 70, he doesn't wait for more than 70. He said that's waiting too long. So you got stuff you got to do. You have tasks that you're just building up lists. I want you to go through those, and I talk about this in another one. I'll give you a brief recap. Another principle, I call it gulping. Some people can, like in college, people drink a lot of beer, and they'll just drink, sip it, like wine. And then other people train their body to be able to literally gulp and chug a beer in 5 seconds, right? They learn the control over their body to allow, because you have that natural reflex that doesn't want to let you guzzle stuff, right? It's like to keep you from drowning or choking. But you can, because there's nothing to choke on when you're having liquids, or I should say you can still choke, but it's not as big of a deal. You can train yourself to allow more in, and that's what you have to do in your life. I want you to learn how to let more in. I want you to take your task list, and that task list would usually take you a month to go through. I want you to do it in a day. One day. You might say, Ty, that's impossible. No, man. You know what's impossible? I'm reading this book, Helen Keller. She lost her sight, her vision, the ability to speak, and she still changed the world. She wrote a book. She learned Braille. This lady changed the world. That was hard, okay? That was a lifetime of struggle. It's not hard for me and you to go through our simple task list. Most of it comes down to false mindset, inefficient mindset, lazy mindset, sucking our thumb mindset. Make the decision. Go with it. You're going to make some mistakes doing that. Obviously, don't make life-changing decisions on a split second, but sometimes you will even have to do those. You're going down the street, car, you hear a noise, you may have to jump out of the way in a split second, or you're going to die. In the same way, if you can't do this in those intangible areas of your life, you're going to die in the sense of your dreams will die. When it comes to health, let's go through the 4 real quick. When it comes to health, don't set time when you're going to lift weights or work out. Drop right now. Learn how to do burpees or push-ups. Do 10 jumping jacks right now while you're watching this. Do not put off for tomorrow what you're going to do, what you could do today. If you could work out today, don't tell me about your gym membership tomorrow. You can do it right now. Right now. You can do isometrics. Push your arms together. And Charles Atlas, one of the first bodybuilders, he built strength just from doing that. He became one of the most famous bodybuilders without using weights. You always have your 2 hands, right? You always can do jumping jacks. Don't tell me what you're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. Daniel Kahneman, I think the Nobel Prize guy, talks about experiential happiness. Create your experiential happiness by being able to create moments, moment by moment, and also memory. You'll have better memory happiness. You want to learn a language? Pull out your phone. Stop putting it on a list to learn Swedish. Learn Swedish today. A little bit. You won't learn the whole language, but you'll learn a little bit. I know a few words. Tack. If any of you are Swedish, thank you. You want to, let's talk about money, making money and wealth. You have an idea? Don't tell me about this idea for 2 years. Go out and create a minimal viable product and see if you can get some stranger to buy it. I was watching the guy. I saw an interview with the guy. I forget his name. The guy who started Sean John or whatever on Shark Tank, and he was saying, he got in the business by making some T-shirts, going down to the stadium, the baseball stadium, and trying to sell some to strangers. He's like, I didn't want to build an empire till I knew somebody wanted this stuff. Minimum viable product. Get out there. Don't tell me about your business. You can make 10 businesses, 15. One of my business partners said, Todd made 20 businesses, and he's made, I don't know, 50 to $100 million in his life. He's not afraid. Go out. Don't let it stick on you. The idea you're going to be an entrepreneur. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. I'm telling you, whenever I don't do this, I feel the pain. Those of you in my 67 steps, I talk about, if you don't have it in your head, you'll have to have it in your heel. You don't have it wired right in your brain, you will feel the pain of having to do extra steps. No extra steps. Efficient. Occam's razor, basically says, make the thing simple. When you have multiple choices, go with the simple one. The simple choice is, if I want to buy a book, I used to sometimes get trapped. I would send my assistant an email, but I was like, the same amount of words, I could more easily open the Amazon app, press one click, have the book delivered. I didn't increase her cognitive loading. She could do other things for me. And for me, my life's better because I don't have to worry about following up with her, and the book comes quicker, and I actually type less words. It's the ultimate, what they call, the economist Pareto. It's the Pareto efficiency. Not the 80-20. This is Pareto efficiency, which means win-win situation. So when it comes to wealth creation, don't tell me about you're going to save money. Go take $100, transfer it from your checking into your savings online, your bank. Today. Do not do tomorrow what you can do today. When it comes to love, happiness, you don't know. People can be taken from you. You have someone that you love, you haven't talked to them. Don't put it on a list to surprise them on their birthday. That's presumptuous. One thing I learned, I lived with the Amish for 2.5 years when I was young, and the Amish never presumed on life. They taught you there. You never say, I'll see you tomorrow. That's not in their language. They took it out of their vocabulary and they say, I hope to see you tomorrow. There's a difference. You must be humble. In German, there's a word called Gelassenheit, bending your knee to something bigger than you, and time is bigger than us. Time is the unknown, as Stephen Hawking talks about in one of his later books, Theory of Everything. Don't tell me, and don't tell yourself, it's not me, by the way, I don't mean to sound condescending, I'm talking about for you. Don't talk about who you need to tell you love or who you need to spend more time with them. Get in the car, go do it today. Bias towards action. Alexander the Great. These are men of action. And people, men and women of action, they rule the world. They have impact. Hopefully positive, right? Something about Hillary Clinton. She doesn't talk about thank you notes. She's one of the most high-powered people in the world, and she takes time each day to make videos to thank different people that she runs into in her path. You and I, we're certainly not more busy than the Secretary of State was, but yeah, what's our excuse? It's the stickability hot potato. She gets it off her plate every day. She's even gone further and systematized it, which we can talk about later. And if you're not in my 67 steps, or if you are, a lot of you are, go on this private VIP thing that I've started to do, this live streaming I do once or twice a month. It's I charge money for that, but if you're penny wise, dollar foolish, you will have bigger problems. I charge less than the average American pays in coffee every month for that. But no stickability. But when it comes to that last thing, when it's happiness, happiness must come, as I said, Kahneman or Martin Seligman. It must be experiential. No Picasso's dichotomy, doing what you hate today to save up money to be happy tomorrow. No. Make sure you do things daily that will make you happy. I'm all for the grind. I'm all for working. Man, if you got to put in 14 hours, who cares? But make sure you set out that time for happiness. And remember, happiness is not always in the moment. Happiness is being part of something bigger than yourself. Make time to be part of something bigger than yourself. If you're not part, go become part of something today. The beauty of modern technology is you and I no longer have an excuse. All right? It's going to change your life. I'm asking you for 5 days. What I want you to do, because this will create intent, and intent is correlated in the brain with actuality. right here on this page, if you're watching this YouTube, on my website, on my podcast, leave a note, a comment, okay? If you're on podcast or review, if you're on YouTube or my site as a comment, what's one area you've been lagging? Or a handful of things that are still on your task list that you're just going to get off over the next 5 days. And if you can do them today, you're not even going to wait till the 5th day. Get them done today. You may be listening to this at 11:59. You have 1 minute to do it. Do it today. And the beauty of this is that it's going to give you health, wealth, love, and happiness. You will have impact on the world. You will not be forgotten. You will not be a cog in the machine. You will be somebody who will be remembered for getting things done. So 5 days, leave the comment here. Look at other people's comments. Talk back and forth. There's a tremendous power in, like Matt Lieberman says in this book here, Harvard guy, social. So that's why I want you to put it on this page. Don't just keep it in your head. That's procrastinating. Notice I didn't use the word procrastinating. Procrastinating is the accumulation of many bad habits. I don't like to focus on that big one. I like to rip apart each bad habit as they arise. And the first one is the stickability. Get that hot potato going. Get it off your plate. There will be some things you can't get off your plate. There will be things you have to suck your thumb and think on for a while, and you can't make that executive decision. But 90% of the things that you have on your list, you can get off. And then that cognitive loading, your brain, your worrying is down. You got a list of real things you need to think about. And all these little trifles are done, okay? 5-day challenge. Tell me how it changed your life. I'm telling you, every time I do it and I stick to it, and I've been able to do it for a long time now, I see the results quickly. Remember, quick action often creates quick results. So even if you're impatient, you'll begin to see it, and you're going to slowly rewire your brain. Everything, like Dr. Sharon Mollum says, we're training our gene down to the gene level, the enzymes, the catalysts that cause you to rethink and readapt. They will be changing for the better. You will be able to get what you want as you build this into a habit. Start with 5 days, then do it for 67 days, and then do it for 18 months. First habits, get that 5 days, then that real habit around 67 days, and then you go further and further. You never stop. Like Munger says, the billionaire, go to bed each day a little wiser. You're going to go to bed a little wiser and a little more trained to have impact for this bias towards action. Get things done, all right? So last thing, go to tylopez.com. I give away stuff like this for free. I read a book a day and give reviews. You can see my TED Talk and different things I've done. It's tylopez.com. Sign up for the book of the day. It's absolutely free. 1.4 million people in 40 countries see that when I send that out, and there's lots of tips like this. But start with this one. This is the hinge. This is the hinge that the whole door of success will turn on, okay? Get those book of the days, tylopez.com, Facebook, Ty Lopez Official, Instagram, and Twitter at Ty Lopez. Shout out to me. I check those every day or more, and if you have some questions on this, some specifics, leave it here on this page. Leave it as a review, or hit me on Twitter at Ty Lopez, or on Instagram, Ty Lopez, the number 1, or Ty Lopez Official on my fan page. I do respond to those, okay? Also, when you join my site, there's a little private inbox. You'll get a welcome automated one from me. If you reply to that, I do check those too. So when you put your email in, we give you a free login membership. So anyway, let me know. No stickability. Change your life today. No need to think about tomorrow yet. Let's solve and conquer today. All right? Talk to you soon.